Hey, Gaming Geek here with a special interview. So we're really excited to have Caleb Goodson from 3D Art Digital. Glad to have him on board. So, hey Caleb, good to meet you and glad to have you on the show.
Hey, Gaming Geek, glad to be here. Thanks for bringing me here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The Kickstarter that you're going to be having in just a little bit of time, May 7th, as I understand it. Really excited about it. Saw some pictures, and it is called.
It's called Survivors of Serath,
Okay.
and we're going to have over 50 unique character models, and then enough terrain to where you can make your own fortress. It's going to be really, really great. We've put a lot of hard work and a lot of effort into it, into making it something really special.
Okay. Here we have the Kickstarter, and you can sign up to follow this page. So once it goes live, we'll be notified. And if you pledge within the first 24 hours, once they start, you get a almost $30 discount for the all-in package. So make sure that you are signed up to do that. So that's pretty much all the information for the Kickstarter. The rest of the video is going to be going more in depth. Here is some graphics that you sent me earlier, which I think this terrain set looks awesome. Now, how do you pronounce this word here?
That's ferrocrane.
Ferrocrane. Okay.
Now, the way I came up with the name is it's the fortress of the Metalhead tribe, which are
Okay.
a bunch of half orcs that like to stick metal in their faces and heads.
Awesome. And so let's see. So yeah, this gate, for example, I love the symbol on here. Almost a Norse mythology.
Right, right. The artist looked at a bunch of different Norse symbols, and he combined them together to form that gate. Yeah, I remember him showing it to me. Sergey's his name.
Okay.
Very talented artist. He designed almost all of the terrain.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm loving these walls that it's uneven like this. I just love the design on these. They look really
Oh yeah,
good.
yeah. It just shows some character.
And then, to be honest, out of the train set, the pieces that I'm most excited about are these, the ruins of Korgrath. And let me tell you why, Caleb, because a lot of terrain sets that are out there do not have platforms on them. Most of the games that I play, height is important in the games. It gives you a tactical advantage. Warcry, the train set which I really like, they have built-in height to them. And so I am so glad that this set includes these pieces that have platforms on them. Now, do you know if these are going to be multi-print sets, or do you know if this will fit on one print bed?
Anything that's really big like that, we're going to break up to the smaller printers.
Okay.
Yeah, we've already discussed that. We don't want it to be a problem for people who have smaller printers.
Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and keep scrolling, see what else we have here. I like the scatter terrain that you're including. I like this lamppost. And then you have your well. I'm glad that you guys are including this wagon too. Now, do you know if this wagon is small enough to fit on a resin printer, or will we have to print them on a filament printer?
Well, we're doing everything with a resin printer in mind.
Okay.
I will be testing. Well, we both will. We have the same size resin printer.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be testing the files, of course, before we send them out to make sure that they can fit on a small enough printer.
Okay.
Because we don't want to give you a product that you have to struggle with. That's
Right.
not serving the customer.
Now, the sample files that you sent me to print, they came with supports. I did ask you to provide supports because I hate putting on supports for my resin printer. Now, are you going to
Right.
be including supports, pre-supported models?
There are plans to do that as a stretch goal.
Okay, oh great. I hope it hits that stretch goal because it's
Right, right.
totally
So,
worth
so
it.
promote the campaign, get it out there. Let's get that up there so we can unlock that stretch goal for you.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look at the miniatures in the core set here. And you came up with the narrative for
Oh,
each
yeah.
one of these.
All of these are characters that I came up with over the years. I've been a game master for about 24 years,
Okay.
and I've been a writer for 20. So this is just characters from different stories, different games, different things I've come up with over the years.
Okay, great. What game do you GM?
Oh, okay. Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, After the Bomb, Rifts, Ninjas and Super Spies, Heroes Unlimited. See, did I get them all? Oh, I want to try the new Age of Sigmar role-playing game that's coming out soon in a couple of weeks. I've also done Mouse Guard.
Oh, okay.
That
Okay.
was fun.
Oh, that's cool. Wow, you played a lot of games then.
Yeah, yeah, I have. I have. It's great fuel for my imagination because the thing's constantly just churning. I'm always coming up with the ideas and things. I'm one of those guys that just, I'm an insomniac.
Uh-huh.
So I really just can't sleep from all the thoughts that are just coming out.
Okay.
So I write a lot down and
Nice.
I think, and I kind of plan out these characters and things. So that role playing helps with that quite a bit.
Absolutely. And this is a great variety of miniatures that they're going to produce. For example, Lord Hammerstripe, right? Having an animal, not just all humans or orcs. And then I like
Or
that there's even a robot.
well, Lord Hammerstripe is a werebadger.
Oh, Werebadger. Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. He's a dwarven werebadger, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. And number 37, he's part of a clockwork army
Uh-huh.
designed to protect the very source of time itself from hordes of demons. So he is one of a gigantic army.
Nice. Nice.
See, everything you see here is part of a larger story and a larger faction. Later on, we can go back to these factions and produce more models based in these areas of the world, in these different political factions and these different religious organizations. There's quite a bit of lore that we can draw on.
Okay. So you mean in possible future Kickstarters, you'll be expanding on this universe?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And then might we see some stretch goals where we see more of these miniatures?
Sure, sure. Absolutely. We have for our stretch goals, I mean, some great stuff. We've got a machine dragon god. We have a werepanda sumo. We have a kinku samurai. Just all kinds of great stuff.
That sounds awesome.
Oh, it is.
And then here we have Gorntak. He's available now for anyone to download for free and to print out. Will that continue through the campaign?
Yes, he will be free to print out.
Awesome. And then here we have a huge model, a giant, it looks like.
Frost Giant, you're right. That is Scorgi Frozenheart. And so far, he seems to be one of the most popular out of the designs. And if you'll scroll down a little bit, let me show you something neat. Okay, you see that cord underneath his beard?
Uh-huh.
That's his eye.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he tore out his own eye to get his power. And that head is the former Frost Giant chieftain.
Okay. Wow. That's great. That's some
Yeah.
great lore right here. Look at that. That's
And
awesome.
if you look at his axe and his knife, they're both made of ice.
Okay. Yeah, I see that here. Look at that. That looks great. And these will be in pieces so that you can print them off the resin printer.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. So I actually did paint Gorntak. I don't know if you can see that very well. And
Hey, yeah.
and
Okay.
also Caleb was kind enough to send me Periol, and I had a different color scheme for him. But these models were super fun to paint and didn't take me very long. I used, if you look at some of my other tutorial videos, I used contrast colors. Yeah, the contrast paints. So it didn't
Yeah.
take very long at all, but I think they turned out great. Now, I think these are 40 millimeter. These are sized at 40 millimeter. Is that correct?
They are 32 millimeter heroic scale,
Oh, okay, okay.
so they are going to be a little bit larger than a standard 32 millimeter model.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, you can easily change the size.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, if you want them to match smaller models, you can shrink them down. But I actually prefer painting a little bit larger. It makes it a little bit easier, and so I think these models look fantastic. The amount of detail that's in them, it's obvious that the 3D rendering of them was done with care, and at least with the pre-supports that came with these, I didn't have to do anything with them. I just loaded up the file, sliced it, and was able to print them out on my resin printer really, really easily. They came out flawless as a print, and so I really hope that we can all support this Kickstarter so that we reach the level where all the models come pre-supported. That would be fantastic. So these models look great. So Caleb, do you know if in terms of the miniatures that's being provided, if there's going to be some kind of extended story or something that ties them together.
Yes, but that will be in the future.
Okay.
We've had talks of perhaps opening a Patreon, and I've actually mapped that out for the next 2 years.
Okay.
With all different kinds of releases. And if you'll pull up the page, the front page, see the lady in front of him?
Uh-huh.
That's Bronog Tree Mother. That's one of the models that can be unlocked.
Okay.
Her faction, the Sealy Court, is going to be one of the featured factions in our upcoming work.
So is she a giant, or is she going to be the regular 32?
She will be a regular 32 millimeter size.
Okay. Because that's a lot of detail.
Oh, she came out beautiful. She actually has this elaborate tree branch staff.
Okay.
Her wings are full butterfly wings.
Uh-huh.
And that's an energy hummingbird coming out of her hand.
Okay. That looks fantastic.
Yes. The designer, Yulia, she did an outstanding job. I mean, 3Dartdigital, it's for people. They're both husband and wife teams.
Uh-huh.
And they've been best friends forever. And you can tell that this is a labor of love for them, just how much care and how much artistry goes into their 3D rendering.
Now, do you know if they as a team created this company to do this full time, or
Yes.
did they have experience doing 3D rendering before and sculpting?
They had experience beforehand. They actually went to school for that.
Okay.
So they've had full training.
Yeah, it would be great to see a Patreon page, especially if they're going to continue to knock these out. I know that.
Well, that is the plan.
Okay.
We, as I said, I've mapped it out for the next 2 years.
All right.
And I think you'd be really excited with what we have in store with that, especially once you see the huge variety of models we have, and just the variant, the variety that we have.
And then after the Kickstarter is scheduled to be over, do you know how soon the STL files will be sent, at least for the core set?
Now, the core set is complete.
Okay.
It's done.
Okay.
So they're not fully supported yet, so that might take a little bit of time. But it won't be long at all.
Okay. Delivery will be pretty soon after the Kickstarter is over.
For the core set, the vast majority are done. The stretch goals, we actually have drawings for.
Okay.
Well, over half the stretch goals are complete. The remaining half we have drawings for.
Okay.
And you'll get a good idea as to what they'll look like. The drawings are great too.
Can imagine how good they are going to be.
Oh yeah, I have complete confidence in them.
And one of the things that I do like about these models, especially Gorntak and the little narrative that you provided for him, is they aren't your typical fantasy tropes. And I find it much more interesting. So even Gorntak the Gentle, it's unique that an orc or a half-orc would eschew the ways of violence that's typical of orcs. And there's a lot of opportunities for sort of backstory of why is he like this? What put him on this path? The obvious racism that he faces, even in the short narrative that you provide. And then how does the other orcs treat him because of this? So there's so much opportunity for storytelling. And even as a dungeon master myself, I love having that even short little hook to incorporate him as an NPC or even a main character in one of the adventures. So I think that's fantastic that you guys are providing some of that story and some of those hooks for game masters to be able to utilize.
Well, my inspiration for that actually was magic cards.
Okay.
A lot of your magic cards, they have this little blurb there that tells a very small piece of the story, and it gets you interested in the larger lore. And so I sat down and I said, okay, we need that. Because art isn't just visual. There's an emotional aspect to it, too. And so as you read that little story, you became interested in Gorntak. You were sympathetic towards him just for the little bit of racism you saw and the little bit of nobility you saw in his character. See, that affected you because you brought it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, perfect.
That's good writing, being able to do it concisely.
Thank you.
And I see that you actually have had some successful Kickstarters in the past. So, what got you into doing this kind of creation of STL files and 3D art and things like that, especially in the fantasy realm of things?
Well, honestly, it was kind of an accident. I was on Instagram, just posting some painted models. I've been doing that for a long time. I happened to see 3D Art Digital posting models from their first Kickstarter. And I read the language and I saw, okay, well, English has got to be their second language. It's not really getting their point across. So I messaged them. I said, hey, I think you need some help. And the person I was talking to was actually the wife of the owner. I didn't know it at the time. And she said, yes, we do. This is our first Kickstarter, but we can't pay you. I said, okay, no problem. No problem. This is your first time out here. You need some help. Why not? And so they sent me pictures of everything. So I gave names to all their products. I wrote little stories for each product. They would send me different things that they wanted to say. And so I would rewrite them, make sure that they were understandable, just things like that. And their first Kickstarter, which was, I think, Orcs and Goblins, the Gods of War, that was a success. Then they came to me again for War Demons, which was busts. And I helped them with that, with the language in that, and that was successful. And they came to me a third time, and I said, okay, I want something different this time, though. Because, each time they gave me a free model, kind of nice. I said, I want in. I want to be a full team member. I want to be fully involved. I want to do something with y'all. We work together, so let's make this a full partnership. And so the team talked about it, and they decided to bring me in. So now I'm fully involved. I'm right here, and hey, I'm talking to you about it now. So I'm in it.
Nice. So awesome. Then they tapped into the right person.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was just some nice happenstance. It just happened to collide and come together at the right time, which is good because they're fantastic artists, as you can see from the pictures I gave you. I mean, just really, really good, and they honestly deserve to have a wider audience, a big market out there, because they're good enough.
Absolutely.
And I believe in what they're doing and in their abilities.
So everyone, if you are seeing this before May 7th, make sure that you do follow so that you can be notified as soon as it goes live. May 7th, which is going to be Thursday. Check it out and definitely look through, and hopefully we'll unlock a lot of stretch goals. But I'm really excited about this set, both the terrain and the miniatures as well. So go ahead and like and subscribe. I'll keep you up to date with what's going on with this Kickstarter.
Like and subscribe to Gaming Geek.
That's right. That's right.
Awesome.
And I'll also post some painting tutorials as well. So thanks so much for listening, and happy gaming. We'll see you next time.